Foundations of language learning. Language learning comes through direct instruction. Language acquisition is a subconscious process. Social language, the language of everyday communication in oral and written forms. Academic language, language used in formal settings and academic writing. Register, the way a speaker uses language, formal or informal context. BICS, Basic Interpersonal Communication Skills. Everyday language, casual, slang, 2 to 3 years to develop. CALP, Cognitive Academic Language Proficiency. Language needed for academic work and study, more difficult for the students to acquire, 5 to 7 years. Code switching. Switching back and forth between L1 and L2, or mix words from L1 with L2. Positive transfer. When students find similarities between L1 and L2, for example, cognates. Negative transfer. When learners incorrectly apply the rules of L1 on L2. Simultaneous bilingualism. Learning two languages at the same time from birth. Sequential bilingualism. Learn L2 after acquired L1. Language interference. Students who confuse the structure of L1 and L2 languages. Interlanguage. When students overgeneralize rules in the new language, for example, apply ed to all past verbs, neglecting irregular verbs. Fossilization. Little change or progress. It is an error that has become a habit. Learners' growth freezes. Cognitive theory. Jean Piaget. 4 stages that describe the cognitive capabilities from childhood to adolescence. Some pigs can only fly occasionally. Sensorimotor, pre-operational, concrete operational, formal operational. Sensorimotor stage. The stage from birth to about 2 years. Infants learn to imitate familiar sounds. Pre-operational stage. The stage from about 2 to 6, during which children talk constantly. They use words, images, and ideas. Egocentrism. Concrete operational stage. The stage from 7 to 11 years, during which children demonstrate logical and organized methods of thinking. Formal operational stage. The stage normally beginning about age 11, during which adolescents demonstrate intelligence on abstract concepts. Connectivity. We learn when we make connections. Behaviorist theory. SRR. Stimulus, response, reinforcements, and receiving rewards for their efforts. Constructivism theory. Learning is an active process on experiences. Cognitivism. Learning is an internal process, long and short memory. Vygotsky's zones of proximal development. The difference between what a learner can do without help and what he or she can do with help. Differentiation. Monitor model. This model is based on 5 crashing hypotheses: the acquisition learning hypothesis, the natural order hypothesis, the monitor hypothesis, the input hypothesis, and the affective filter hypothesis. Acquisition learning hypothesis. Learning the rules of a language will not allow users to produce output. Only authentic acquisition will allow students to use their new language effectively. Input hypothesis. Comprehensible input is necessary for students who are in the process of acquiring a new language. Monitor hypothesis. Requires sufficient time to self-correct it. Focus on grammatical forms and knowledge of rules. Natural order hypothesis. Language is acquired in a particular order, no learning through direct teaching methods. Affective filter hypothesis. Low self-esteem, poor motivation, and anxiety. Universal grammar. Believe that the human capacity for language is innate. Intrinsic motivation. Self-determination and desire to take control of their own learning. Extrinsic motivation. Self-determination and desire to take control of own learning. Anxiety. Fear of communication, fear of negative evaluation, text anxiety. Phonemes. Smallest unit of sound, no letters. Example, shell has 3 phonemes. Graphemes. Letter. Symbols that represent a single sound. What phonemes look like. Phonics. The letter-sound relationship. How sounds look in writing. The students use phonemes to read and write. Decoding. Putting letters and sounds together to read words automatically. Phonemic awareness. The ability to hear, identify, and manipulate individual sounds, phonemes in oral language without letters. It can be done in the dark. Phonological awareness is the umbrella. It's putting sounds and spelling together. Invented spelling. Used by students who are just learning to put sounds together to make words. Whole language approach. Meaning over sounds. Phonics skill-based approach. Language down into small components. Language experience approach. Students' own experiences as the topic of writing and then reading materials. Stages of literacy development. P to flowers. Phonemic awareness, emergent literacy, early stage, transition stage, fluency stage. Emergent literacy. Second stage of literacy development, making meaning of sounds, phonological awareness to sound out words and make meaning of the alphabet, sounds only. Early stage. Third stage of literacy development, uses multiple strategies to predict and understand words. Transitional stage. Fourth stage of literacy development. Students have steady reading pace and provide oral summaries of what they read, but not necessarily their understanding of it. Fluency stage. Fifth stage of literacy development. Students are able to discuss what they have read and provide explanation for their opinions, complex text. Narrative writing. Preschool. Writing that tells a story, retelling familiar stories. Figurative language. Descriptive writing. Writing that paints a picture of a person, place, thing, or idea. Uses details. Expository writing. Writing that explains or informs. Argumentative writing. Students argue a position or something. Procedural writing. Writing that tells how to do something. Influence of L1 on L2. Students who have a strong phonological awareness recognize the patterns of language transfer. Comprehension. Understanding what you read. Stages of second language acquisition. Pre-production, early production, speech emergence, intermediate fluency, advanced fluency. Pre-production stage. Silent phase. Communicates with gestures and actions. Early production stage. Use yes, no, providing one-word answers. Speech emergency stage. Short sentences. Intermediate fluency stage. Full sentences. Advanced fluency stage. Full mastery of L2. Accent. Impact learning and pronunciation of L2 or substitute the sound of L1 with L2 like V, sound V. Language modeling. Providing accurate examples of speech and language and repetition. Comprehensible input. New information that students are able to understand because it is introduced alongside information they already know. Scaffolding. The support for learning and problem solving that encourages independence and growth. Rhetorical patterns. Listing, chronological order, cause and effect, classification, compare and contrast, problem and solution. Morpheme acquisition order. Progressive ing, plural, past regular, past irregular, article, person singular. What leads to differences in morpheme acquisition order in English learners? Cognitive and first language interference. Portfolio assessment is a collection of student works and reflects what they have learned. Sight words. Words that are recognized immediately, don't follow phonics patterns, no decodable words.